Today we are doing lesson 9.5 in our Go Math book. We are learning about centimeters and meters. The essential question is, how is measuring in meters different from measuring in centimeters? We're on page 449. So today I've sent you a piece of yarn that is 1 meter long, which means it's 100 centimeters. So the first thing I would like you to do is to just lay that string out on your floor. Don't stretch it, don't pull it tight, but try to lay it straight. And then we're going to illustrate that right here. There's our string. And we're going to say 1 meter, because that's what that is. I measured all of them and cut them. Now, I also have sent you 2 pieces of paper that are folded in half. So I want you to take your paper and I want you to start at the very beginning of your yarn and just lay it right underneath, and then put the second one next to it. Make sure they touch and keep going until you have measured how many pieces of paper it takes to measure that meter or that piece of yarn. So I'm going to draw my yarn again here, and when I did it here, I could use 1, 2, 3, and then I had some left over, and it wasn't enough to call it another piece of paper, so I would say it's 3 papers. So the yarn is 1 meter, and it takes about 3 pieces of paper to make the same measurement if we're measuring that yarn. So turn your paper over, and we're going to the top where it says model and draw. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters, so it's the same as 100 of those, our unit cubes. The real door is about 200 centimeters tall. The real door is also about 2 meters tall. So 2 meters and 200 centimeters are the same measurement. They mean the same thing. So you will need a meter stick today to be able to do this. And a meter stick is like a yardstick, although a yardstick has inches on it and it's measuring 1 yard, and a meter stick has 100 centimeters measured on it. It's a little bit longer than a yardstick is. You can see that the last number here is 99, but then there's a space, so we know that that goes to 100. So if you have a meter stick to help you, it will make this much, much easier. They want you to measure a chair from top to bottom. So putting your meter stick right on the floor and measuring up to see how many centimeters it takes, and then how many meters is that. So you can pause this and go ahead and do your measuring. When I measured my chair here in the classroom, it was 64 centimeters. Now 64 is past the halfway mark. Half of 100 is 50, so 64 is past that mark. So I'm going to say it's also about 1 meter. It's not as long as a meter, but it is more than halfway there. So we say it's about 1 meter. My desk, if I'm measuring a desk, and if you have a desk at your house or a table at your house, you can go ahead and measure that. But my desk was 160 centimeters. That means I used the meter stick all the way once, and then I measured some more. And I'm more than halfway on that second meter because I'm past the 50. So it's about 2 meters. And then measuring a wall. Now your wall at home is going to be different from my wall here at school. But if I'm measuring with centimeters, every time I put my meter stick down, it is 100 centimeters. And I got 700 centimeters, which means I have 7 meters. Now look at the numbers for the centimeters: 64, 160, 700, and then the number for the meters: 1, 2, 7. Why is the centimeters number so much bigger than the meters number? Well, it's because the centimeters are so much smaller than the meter stick. The meter stick is this whole stick. If I only use one of those, but it would take 100 of these units to make the same thing. So because the centimeters are so much smaller than a meter, we need to have many more of them to measure the same thing. So go to your next page. Now these are objects that would be here in the classroom. I'm pretty sure that most of you have either a bookshelf or some type of shelf at home. So I would like you to measure that and tell me how many centimeters that is, and then about how many meters. So I want you to do number 5. And I'm pretty sure that most of you would have a table at home, some type of table. So measure that, the length of it, how many centimeters that is, and how many meters would that be. So I want you to do number 6. You do not have to do number 4 or number 7 unless you want to, unless you have those things. Or if you want to cross those out and tell me something else that you measured, you can do that as well. But I do want you to do 5 and 6. And then turn your paper over, and we are on page 452. This is a hot problem. Jason and his dad are walking next to a barn. They want to measure the length of the barn. Would the length be a greater number of centimeters or a greater number of meters? So they're going to measure how long that barn is. So the number for the centimeters, would that be greater than the number of the meters? So here's our meter stick, and here's our centimeter. Would it take more centimeters to go down the side of the barn, or would it take more meters? And then explain to me why you chose that. So on this line, you're going to tell me whether it would take more centimeters or whether it would take more meters, and those words are right up there for you to copy, and then explain. And on the bottom, you have a pencil here, and it says what is the best choice for the length of the pencil. So you're going to use your centimeter ruler to measure that and get the best choice. And when you have completed that, your assignment will be done.